gives very importance to, to being on time. I was actually hearing a lecture recently he was giving, and he mentioned in the lecture that when he started his Krishna consciousness, so for 5 years straight, he didn't miss Mangalarti, And he added, he said, I didn't miss a Mangalarti and I was never late for 5 years straight. And even now we see when he wants to attend Mangalarti or come for Darshanarti, he's here before the conch shell blows. So I remember one time I was meant to drive him, and say the drive-off was at around 2:45. So I knew that I have to be at his place at 2:35. And from where I was to his place was maybe less than a minute drive. So I planned it that I'll be there at 2:35, but when I went to my car, I realized I forgot something in the house. So I ran back to get it, and by the time I reached the car again, I got a phone call. Where are you? And I was like, oh. So we still drove off our time, but I was 1 minute late to be at his place. So yeah. So we're going to obviously have offerings and glorifications, and we're also going to hear, a few videos from Gurudev, which will be quite inspiring. We do the Guru Puja now? Yeah. So we do Prabhupada Puja now, and then we do the meaning of Vyasapuja. So,
Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Palma Kevala Bhakti Sarma. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sarma. Hare Prasadeva Eva Vatoriya Krishna Prabhti Hoja Ate Krishna Prabhti Hoja Ate ठाकुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से ठाकुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान भक्ति होते अविद्या विनाश जाते प्रेम भक्ति होते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेरे काय रहर चरितो वेरे काय रहर चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आत्म जनर बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आत्म जनर बंधु लोकनाथ लोकीर जीवाना लोकनाथ लोकीर जीवाना हा हा प्रभु करो दया देह मोर पद चया हा हा प्रभु करो दया देह मोर पद चया Evidas kusuti bhuvana Evidas kusuti bhuvana Srila Prabhupada patita bhavana Srila Gurudev patita bhavana Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Srila Gurudev
We can sit down. Yeah, we can sit down. Yeah. Yep. $50 offering to Prabhupada after this.
Starting?
हाँ अभी अपनी ऑफरिंग नहीं
अच्छा
जो गुरु हाँ गुरुदेव ने हाँ
किसी सीनियर को बोलेंगे
आप करो ना
नहीं किसी सीनियर को बोलेंगे
क्यों आपको नहीं करना आप आ रही हैं
went to ashram.
आप करो ना खाली पढ़ना ही तो है तो आपके पास है ऑनलाइन देयर इज ऑनलाइन
Somewhere it is there. Yeah, I think this is the one.
हाँ यही है
Contents. Introduction. The meaning of Vyasapuja.
उसको बढ़ा कर आते हैं इससे पढ़ लेना आप हाँ
क्या ऐसे बैठ के ऑडियंस को
हाँ
face करना?
हाँ
अभी पढ़ो।
हाँ बैठ जाओ प्रभु गौर
You can read from the book.
Yeah, I think
And maybe this is not required. Adore the happy day. Till here is fine. Till here.
okay. Thank
It's
you.
a bit long. Yeah, 10 minutes will take.
So including this thing, including this, or I start.
Start from here. Gurudev's offering.
Hare Krishna. The meaning of Vyasapuja. Bhavantam evanucharan nirantaraha prashanta nihashesha mano rathantaraha kadaham ekantika nitya kinkara praharashasyami sanatha jivitam. By serving you constantly, one is freed from all material desires and is completely pacified. When shall I engage as your permanent, eternal servant and always feel joyful to have such a fitting master? With these words from Sri Yamunacharya's Stotra Ratna 43, Sri Rupa Goswami and Sri Sanatan Goswami greeted Sri Chaitanya at their first meeting. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 1.206. The lines are composed of a statement and a question. The statement encapsulates the confident goal of the bhakti practitioner, and the question gives voice to his or her loving aspiration. May Srila Prabhupada be pleased with us on this Vyasapuja day. Sri Govinda, Krishna, origin of all, to make a home for wayward souls. In the covered portion of his space lies down this supine form, a portion of his might. And love, let's not forget, he's doing this to help us. As he breathes, do universes flow. Inside the eggshell domes, the world's a further Lord reclines, and without wife, produces he who will become the leader of our line. It's dark, the just created being is alone. He struggles some, then gives his mind to meditate, some 1,000 celestial years. There is no guru to be seen, but there within the meditator's heart will Krishna Adi Guru show him all, reveal the truth, the spiritual world, the home of blessed souls, whose joy is service. Reveal the role that Brahmaji will play. The message must be handed down the ages here, like a mango ripened by the sun, not dropped, for mango trees are high, from hand to hand be handed down. Across the ages, on and on to souls, the message is, come home. From time to time, as time rolls around, within this universe where time controls, The age of Kali rears its head. The wandering souls who yet remain are challenged, lacking time and peace and luck and memory. And so the message must be written down. Vyasadeva, the avatar, is with this duty charged. And from his name we take such words as Vyasasan, Vyasapuja. Like the viceroy gets some honor, presents letters, contributions, not a single pinch he will touch, sends it to the royal hoard. Prabhupada's the same. The honor, contribution, all the feelings, all the offerings go to Krishna through the line of the preceptors. Off they go from downward to the upward. Srila Prabhupada responds to his disciples' tributes in early September of 1969 in Hamburg, Germany. People outsider may think that this man is being flattered and he is receiving his own eulogization. But that is not the fact. It is the test how they are receiving the message sincerely and they are expressing their feeling. So it is going to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As it has come through the channel of the disciplic succession, all these praises will also reach to Krishna through that disciplic succession. Earlier on that same 1969 Vyasapuja day, at a small storefront temple on Eppendorfer Wedge, Srila Prabhupada had defined the position of Guru before the few disciples before him. It is not that a particular man is spiritual master. Spiritual master is a truth. So what is that truth? The truth is samsara dava nalalita loka tranaya karunya ghana ghanatvam. The whole world is in the blaze of material pangs, threefold miseries. And a person who is authorized to deliver people from those material pangs, he is called spiritual master. The example is given in this verse, Davanala, in the Sanskrit word. The English equivalent is forest fire. Nobody has got any interest to set fire in the forest, but it takes place automatically. So this example is given to this materialistic life as a forest fire because nobody wants any disturbance, but disturbance is created. And how that blazing fire can be extinguished? You cannot send there this fire brigade, or you cannot get some pots of water and try to extinguish that white fire. It is not possible. Then how to extinguish it? The extinguishing is possible when there is cloud overhead and there is incessant pouring of water. When cloud pours water, it is so sufficient that there is no comparison. But if you want to pour water, a bucket full of water, how long will you do it? How long you will do it? So spiritual master means he must be just like the cloud. How is it possible? It is possible. It is possible in this way, provided he follows the disciplic succession of spiritual master. Then it is possible. He must inherit the power from the superior source. Then it is possible that by his teaching, by his lessons, the forest fire which is burning within our heart, it can be extinguished. This is the process. 55 years have passed since Srila Prabhupada spoke these words. They are still true and they will be true as long as this world lasts. He speaks the absolute truth, not the relative truth that is only true some of the time, which cannot solve our real problem, like the fire brigade or the pots and buckets of water in the example he gives. We may resort to temporary solutions to muffle temporary problems for a while, but we are on fire. This world is on fire. That is the absolute truth that Srila Prabhupada presents us with time and time again. How fortunate we are that we have so many of his classes, his books, his conversations. He spent his whole time instructing us, and by the blessings of modern technology, so very many of his instructions and lessons are available to us today. We prostrate our insignificant selves before the greatness of our spiritual master, the foremost of the Vaishnavas of the modern age. And not only is he this, but he is our savior as well. We can count on his blessings. He has left them behind in the form of his instructions, his example, his society, and his followers. May we take advantage of them and faithfully tread the path back home, back to Godhead, which Srila Prabhupada has shown us and left for the benefit of all human society. These few words, in which I have tried to explain the meaning of Vyasapuja and the person of my spiritual master, are hopelessly, hopelessly inadequate. How can a dwarf catch the moon? I can only thank the organizers of this publication that I was given the opportunity to try. I humbly point the reader to the 5 extant recordings of Srila Prabhupada himself speaking on his Vyasapuja day. They are Hamburg 1969, New Vrindavan 1972, Bhaktivedanta Manor 1973, 2 recordings, and Hyderabad 1976. Govardhan Dasi, Norfolk, United Kingdom.
We just reading Gurudev's offering to Srila Prabhupada from this year on his Vyasapuja day.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my odd and full-hearted obeisances in the dust of your divine lotus feet. Allow me to express with deepest solemnity my utmost gratitude for your presenting the possibility of your followers living in Vrindavan anywhere and everywhere. By your alerting us to the availability of this benediction, you so compassionately bring home to us a peak potential of the complete bhakti package you have bestowed. Even though such spiritual graces appear so faint and far off, how enlivening and motivating it is to know what can await dedicated servitors of your mission as they near the end of the long tunnel through material existence. In a Bhagavad Gita class given on June 25, 1974 in Melbourne, Australia, you triumphantly declared, as soon as you offer yourself to be enjoyed by Krishna as servant, according to his order you serve, then immediately you are in the spiritual world. So you can become in the material world or spiritual world as you desire. If you want to remain in the spiritual world, this temple is a spiritual world. We are not living in Melbourne. This temple is not Melbourne. It is Vaikuntha. It is Vrindavan. Our heart begs you for even the slightest fragrance of this transmundane reality. In the Madhya Leela 16.281 of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Gadadhar Pandit, clasping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, asserts that wherever you stay is Vrindavan. In the purport, you present a long list of Mahaprabhu's exalted associates who never visited Vrindavan, yet they are certified as eternal Vrajavasis. Next, you point out more recent great acharyas who resided mainly away from Vrindavan. Srila Narottam Das Thakura, Srinivas Acharya, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, Sri Bhagwan Das Babaji Maharaj, Srila Gaur Kishora Das Babaji Maharaj, and later Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakura of Calcutta, always engaged in Nam Bhajana and certainly did not live anywhere but Vrindavan. What follows always astonishes me. In the same purport, you extend such a possibility even to your followers serving in metropolises, Kali Yuga fortresses all over the globe. They can also live in Vrindavan consciousness, no matter their locale for seva. Presently, the members of the Hare Krishna movement throughout the world live in materially opulent cities such as London, New York, Los Angeles, Paris, Moscow, Zurich, and Stockholm. However, we are satisfied with the following in the footsteps of Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakura and other acharyas. Because we live in the temples of Radha Krishna and continuously hold Harinam Sankirtana, the chanting of Hare Krishna, we consequently live in Vrindavan and nowhere else. When will the qualification for that day of realization be mine? Only by your mercy would I even merely know about this opportunity. Only by your favor can I strive for just a glimpse of it. And only by your permission can there be any hope of the slightest attainment. Your aspiring servant Devamrita Swami Maharaj.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravana Vicharini Visheshanivadi Paschata Deshatarine Pancha Kalpatarvasya Kipasinduve Vachapatitanam Pavaneve Vaishnavibhya Namo Namaha. Yeah, I've been known Devamrita Maharaj for many, many years. Even as a child, growing up in Mayapur and Vrindavan. The first time I saw Devamrita Maharaj was 1975. Before your time, maybe. And when I went for initiation in Vrindavan, and they have these mats. They roll it out, and you roll out the mats, and they all sit for prasadam. And he was rolling out these mats, and then he asked me to get out of the way so I was trying to get a seat, a proper place to sit, and not like you also. Right now, these days, you have so much facility here. Those days, you have to just grab what you can, and then I sat down to take prasadam, and he was serving prasadam, and then when he was going around, I think it was brahmachari. And then I asked for more. He said, "Oh, you're a small kid, you eat so much." And then I said, we don't get enough in Mayapur. This was in Vrindavan. And then he came around with other things. "More, please." He was thinking, this kid can, Bengali kid, they can eat a lot. And we eat a lot of rice. So you may be a very skinny body, but have a big belly, because the rice doesn't give you the fat, but it just expands on your belly. So Maharaj was, he was always a very service attitude. He was always serving, and not only him. I knew many other American devotees who used to spend time in Mayapur and Vrindavan in those days. So this is what it says in the book just now you're reading, that the material world is a Davanala Kund, is a Davanala forest fire, and the spiritual master, they come to put out the fire, the forest fire, by giving their mercy. So Guru, sometimes the spiritual master, they are the mercy of their Guru. Ultimately, the spiritual master, the mercy of Krishna, they come to bless us. And even when Srila Prabhupada was here, he was not alone. He was surrounded by all these devotees, his disciples, who were personally trained them, Western devotees. So even when I first joined, I was to think, I knew Prabhupada, but then I saw all these Westerners. And then later on, you become a guru, like Maharaj and Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Jayapataka Maharaj. So sometime when I went back to my village in Shantipur, and all my friends were telling me, like my uncles and stuff, they said, "Oh, you people have a guru, that's an American guru." I was thinking, no, it's not like that. So I had to preach to them, because they can't conceive of having a Western person as a guru in India, in the villages. And so, especially someone from New York, like Maharaj, and like you see them in the movies and stuff. And so how could these people can be a guru? So they were telling me like this. So people don't conceive of understanding what is, this is not the material body, it's the qualification that one is on the level of a guru. So even 2 years ago, I was invited to go to Sydney to attend Jananda Maharaj's Vyasapuja. I really like him, because he's like a very exemplary sannyasi. So I went there, and there are a lot of Prabhupada disciples in Sydney. And so they invited them to come. None of them came. I came all the way from Sydney to attend Jananda Maharaj's Vyasapuja, so he was really happy with me. So, and it sometimes is humbling to associate with devotees. This is what it requires for us to be Krishna consciousness, and we need to be humble, because in front of our Guru, in front of our Prabhupada, in front of Krishna, we are just a fraction, like a drop of water in the sea. So it requires humility to associate with devotees, and associating devotees, that's what it does. It makes us humble. And that's what it requires, to be humble, to be Krishna conscious. And always see my God brother, I'm only on a day maybe 70, I'm just under 50. So, but it is my humility or desire to encourage my older God brother, and similarly they encourage me. In this way, just like I was in Fiji just 2 weeks ago, and they had the whole country, we had just 3 Prabhupada disciples. Like I went there, and Vedavyas Maharaj, and Kalasambara, we had Gana Samudra, and they had always, so this joke went around, oh yeah, Prabhupada disciple, here comes Prabhupada disciple. So it's not like that. We have to be humble and be qualified to associate with and take association of Devamrita Maharaj. We are so lucky, like you were saying, even Maharaj was saying, we are really lucky to have, we have someone that we had close association with Prabhupada, and still today. Maybe 10 years from now, you won't have anyone like that. But you are the disciple of Devamrita Maharaj, a disciple of Prabhupada disciple. So Prabhupada used to say, you have to carry on after I leave. You're going to be the one to carry on. So we are all in that line. It's not like I'm so-and-so, you and so-and-so. We are all in the line of Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. And last time, one time, I met Devamrita Maharaj in Perth in early 90s. And I told him, like, you don't invite me to take prasadam with you, and you don't say Haribol to me, and like only I can say that to him. You can't say that. And I said, maybe you're getting a little bit, egoistic. This was in the 90s, okay, not now. So things change. So we also change. we get. We learn from our mistakes. We get older. Realization comes. So when you're younger, you talk like this. So we have to learn to respect our elders. We have to learn to respect our God brothers. We have to learn to respect each other, our brother and our family and everyone. And Maharaj said to me, he said, you're so nice, you're making me humble. And, so I expected for him to get angry with me, but he was, the way he said to me, I was very impressed. That, I thought, how can this kid talk to me like this? I'm a guru and sannyasi. But he wasn't thinking like that. So sometimes we are jealous of our guru or someone who has a better position. But you don't understand, the gurus, they have a lot of work. He said, every day, I'm busy, writing an email, hundreds of emails that come to me, I have to reply to them. So much responsibility. It's not that we have to take care of them because they don't have time to, they just have time to come and give class, or they're very busy and they're taking your karma. So it is our duty to encourage them. It is our duty to be a good disciple of our spiritual master. In this way, we can, all of us are improved in our spiritual life. It's like when you're climbing a mountain, you push someone, the person on top of you, you push them so they can be going close to the top of the hill. And the person underneath you, they push you. In this way, we're all encouraging each other, pushing each other towards that spiritual life, back to Godhead. So there's not like jealousy. We have to become very pure to glorify our Guru, this is the quality. And that's what I said. You have to learn to be humble. And association with devotees will make us that humility. And we are so lucky to have, Devamrita Maharaj coming to the temple. He's still here. He comes, spend time here. He's based here in Australia. He's moving around. Like I saw only Srila Prabhupada once a year, because he was always moving around, once a year. But we are really lucky because Prabhupada came to Mayapur and stayed there for a month and a half because it was for his health. But everywhere else he was just spending 2 days, 3 days. And so when Maharaj comes here, and even I was in China for 10 years, and I heard Devamrita Maharaj came to China. I said, where is he? He just rocked in, rocked out, because it's all secret there. You can't just go and, all right, well, here I am, because it's, incognito. It is the university program. They can't put devotional clothes. So, Maharaj is very expert in preaching, and so expert. And he wrote so many books. I'm struggling to write one book, but he wrote so many books. So this is the quality of our spiritual master. And so many people these days, they criticize. You just have to open the Facebook, they're criticizing. How we accept this? This is all nonsense. Even when Krishna was here, he is perfect, God himself. And people are criticizing him. So my advice to you, all of us, including myself, don't criticize Vaishnava. See the qualities, good qualities of your Guru. If you Guru Ninda, if you offend a Guru, then you are not going to go back to Godhead. You think, I have a better Guru. That's all mundane conception. So always glorify. This is the quality of a devotee, to glorify one another. And Vyasapuja is a day where you can reflect the qualities of our spiritual master. In this way, we can be benefited by associating. Like you're reading, the spiritual master may not be here personally, but the instructions here. And your spiritual master is here. You can see him. He comes so many times a year. So we're all very lucky. Okay, so Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada ki jai.
Last night I thought, I'll do something. I thought I'm going to check Chat GPT to ask, what it says about Devamrita Swami. So, it was interesting what Chat GPT replied back, gave a long answer. So Chat GPT said about Devamrita Swami's teaching style. He said, Devamrita Swami's teaching style is often described as a combination of sharp intellect and deep compassion. He is known for his thought-provoking, sometimes challenging lectures that push listeners to reconsider their assumptions about life, the universe, and their own personal goals. And I thought it was pretty accurate. And it's said about the teaching and the themes he goes through. He said spiritual ecology. Devamrita Swami is a passionate advocate for sustainability and environmental responsibility. He teaches that a materialistic worldview driven by consumption and exploitation is at the root of its world's ecological crisis. And he said about economic and social issues, his themes he uses, relationships. But then it said at the end, at the heart of Devamrita Swami's teaching is the practice of Krishna consciousness, a process that involves chanting, meditation, and living according to Vedic principles. He teaches that by focusing one's life on Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a person can attain true happiness and freedom from the cycle of birth and death.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Śrīmate Devamrita Swamiti Namine Prachare Purva Daksham Cha Bhakta Cha Pravinita Pradhatapi Karunyam Yasa Sarvechati Nama. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet on this auspicious occasion of your Vyasapuja. Prithvi te ache joto nagar adi gram sarvatra prachar hoibe mora naam. In every town and village throughout the world, said Lord Chaitanya, the chanting of my holy name will be heard. Recently I was speaking to one senior devotee who is a Prabhupada disciple. What I learned made my faith even more stronger in Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada. Just like when Krishna in his various avatars decide to take birth in the material world, he sends all his associates before he arrives to make all arrangements and to assist him in his mission. Similarly, before Srila Prabhupada went to America, it was arranged that his associates already be there to assist him in this mission. So you are a loyal servant and assistant of Srila Prabhupada, serving him from last 52 years. During this time, you have traveled the world many times over and helped thousands of conditioned souls in every planet. You are one of the rarest of the spiritual masters in ISKCON, still vigorously traveling around Australia, New Zealand, North America, Europe, Asia, every year, even at this age of 74. You are fearlessly and selflessly serving all of ISKCON around the world. You show us by example that Bhakti Yoga is unstoppable and does not depend on the temporary changes always happening in this material world. Thank you for being this amazing example on how we should serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada. I aspire to be of assistance to you in serving Srila Prabhupada and ISKCON. Your servant Krishna Katadas.
Hare Krishna, dear Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Dear Gurudev, thank you so much for accepting me as your spiritual daughter. You are a very loving father. You are always make sure my Prabhu is taking good care of me. Many times, so many things going in my mind. You always read my mind without telling anything. You gives all solution. I am very thankful to you from my bottom of my heart. Please give me more and more opportunity to serve you. I will always pray for your good health. I am begging you to you with folded hands. Please shower your mercy so I may get taste in Harinam. Please shower your blessing and keep me and my family at your lotus feet. Your daughter, Leela Rasa Devi Dasi.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for giving an opportunity to glorify His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesa Sunyavate Paschatya Desatarane. Yesterday night I was reading about Maharaj. Usually whenever there is a Vyasapuja, I try to because understand and it will be helpful also if what to speak. And so I was impressed. His Holiness Devamrita Maharaj, when he was about to be graduated, he went to the dean and told him that I don't see any future in the materialistic world. So the dean was very, he just looked at his eyes and says, no, you are an AL man, you will influence the world. So it maybe it didn't work out the way the dean thought, but still Maharaj is influencing the world in a different way, in a spiritual way. That's a very wonderful. Maharaj was very honest and he admitted. Normally when somebody studies from a prestigious university, they will boast around and, oh, I'm from this, I'm from Cambridge, I'm from this and that. But he very candidly admitted that there is no future. So, but somehow this is Srila Prabhupada's mercy. It's very, Maharaj also follows in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada inspired devotees from various walks of life, doctors, engineers, businessmen, this, that. And same way, Maharaj also is influencing and inspiring devotees from various walks actually. Sometimes from Indian, some North Indian, South Indian, and also from American, Australian, New Zealand, everywhere. So he's influencing people. So that's a very wonderful quality of Maharaj. And I just reading one part from that where it says, among his myriad services to Krishna and Srila Prabhupada, he focuses upon arranging non-traditional settings for Western audience to approach bhakti. So this is very wonderful way of, if a Western person asks him to come to the traditional temple setup, he may or may not be much inclined actually. So Maharaj has a wonderful formula so that even those devotees can be attracted. And also that same thing it says, challenging young Indian students and professionals to penetrate the wheel of religious belief and religious myth and advocating spiritually based economics, sustainability and environmentalism. So this is the Maharaj's speciality. Maharaj had so much loft programs and we have boat cruise. So if it's a normal program, people may or may not turn up actually. But if it's a boat cruise, for them, it's just like a normal tourist type of thing. So nobody will think there is a plan behind that. But anyway, it's not we don't have a vested interest, but we have a proper spiritual interest only for them. So that way, Maharaj is very tactic. And I heard actually some of the devotees said, or even Maharaj said, for different folks, different strokes. Maharaj has a different folk. He knows this person and then what stroke to do, that he knows that exactly. So that's a very wonderful quality. And one of the wonderful thing is Maharaj has so many wonderful disciples and we are getting their association on a daily basis. So it's thankful to Maharaj. And also Maharaj is traveling quite a bit and on this wonderful day, we prayed to Lord Nrsingadev to protect him so that he can continue to deliver the fallen souls and give his association to one and all. Thank you very much, Maharaj. His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Dear Guru Maharaj, on this auspicious day, I just want to say how much I appreciate you. You are very kind and compassionate and always think of helping others into their journey towards Krishna consciousness. I have heard that you prioritize your chanting every day and set an example for others, even if you have to travel very early in the morning. Your dedication to serve your Guru inspires us to take Krishna consciousness more seriously. I offer my deepest reverence and gratitude for your guidance in our lives. Your servant, Chinmay Radha.
Dear Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you on this most auspicious day. As time goes on, the more I feel the need for your shelter. This material world is a dark and lonely place and only increases my desire to be with Krishna's devotees. Your mercy is the only thing that sustains my lowly existence, and I'm wholly and totally indebted to you for this fact. Remembering how you treat the devotees in your care helps me to continue with faith and determination. Please allow me to remain in the shade of your lotus feet and grant me eternal service. Tasmat saveshu kaleshu mam anusmararujjacha maya pita mano buddhi mam ivasyasya samshaya. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. Bhagavad Gita 8, Text 7. O Gurudev, may you always guide and instruct me, bringing me again and again back to your shelter and allow me to learn something about serving our Supreme Lord Krishna. May you always be merciful upon this fallen soul and never reject him. Hare Krishna, your servant Damlitai Das.
We'll just see a video of Gurudev, explaining one of, his experiences when he was doing preaching behind the iron curtain.
Hearing the stories told in the past few days of devotees and their wonderful activities reminded me of the most vivid example I experienced about how Krishna controls perception. You see, this whole mirage of conditioned life means that we think our perception is independent. I see what I want to see, when actually we see what Krishna allows us to see. This is a very humiliating point, and this is why the Shastra speaks so heavily about those who simply rely upon their own perceptions and intelligence. They think it's my seeing, it's my cognition. I'm the controller of my consciousness. Whereas what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? Mata smritir jnanam apavanam cha sarvasya chaham hridi sanivishtu. I'm seated in everyone's heart. I allow you to forget. I allow you to remember. I allow you to have knowledge. Even if you want to forget Krishna, you can't do it on your own. You need his help. Once we can grasp this point, so much illusion slackens its grip on us. in order to see Krishna, in order to understand Krishna, I need Krishna's mercy. You know, Krishna is known as Adokshaja. Generally, devotees define that as he's beyond the range of material senses. But a more dynamic and deeper definition of Adokshaja is that Krishna pushes your senses down. You're thrusting your senses toward Krishna, he's pushing them down. No, you can't see me. You can't understand me. So I was doing my humble attempt in the Soviet bloc during the Iron Curtain days. It was deep in the Soviet bloc, and we would do anything with devotees to find a safe place just to sit down and have a quiet kirtan and talk about Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. That was the pinnacle. Does anyone know a house, a flat where we can go to for that? Because most young people never had their own flats then. So you always had to find a place where the parents had gone away for the weekend or something. So the devotees told me excitedly, we got a place, it's a big flat room for 20 devotees. We were so happy, now we can have Bhagavatam class together. Of course, I didn't look like I was from that part of the world. It's the palest part of the world, and I had a bit of a permanent suntan. So I would only try to go out at night. Because if I go out during the day, people would literally stop their cars. They couldn't figure out. He's not dark enough to be from Africa. What is he, Italian, Sicilian, Moroccan, Libyan? They've never seen, you know. So I just going out at night. So anyway, I'll tell you why that is an important point. So there we are having Bhagavatam class. I'm wanted by the KGB. So the devotees were seated all in a circle. And there I was, as Shukadeva Goswami says. And then all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see the front door open. And in walks this real tough-looking lady. The classic stereotype Soviet-looking lady. Just what the devotees didn't tell me in their enthusiasm of arranging this place was that, yes, it was owned by the mother of a devotee, but that mother was a ranking officer in the police. You know, the devotees were so happy. Maharaj, we got a place, we can talk about Krishna. We can hear Bhagavatam. They didn't tell me one crucial point of information. So there I am holding forth, doing my little best to speak Bhagavatam. And this lady walks in. And she just doesn't rush in like, what's going on in my house? No, she came in with such police discipline. She walked very carefully, and she went to the circle and walked right up to the first person in the circle. She's in the center and stands right in front of the first person, memorizes the face. She's that far away from everyone's face. Goes to the next one, and the next one, the next one. And I'm thinking, uh-oh, what happens when she gets to me? I don't exactly look Slavic. I'm obviously a foreigner, and I'm obviously involved in seditious anti-government activities of speaking Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. I'm already hot with the KGB. This is it. I'm busted. I don't know when I'll get out of behind the Iron Curtain. So she's going one to the next one, memorizing their face. She's just 1 foot in front of everyone. So self-controlled. And then she's coming around to me. And I said, uh-oh, what's going to happen now? She looks straight at the person next to me, and then moves her eyes as she starts to stand in front of me. She's this close in front of me. And she brings her eyes onto me, and what do I see? Her eyes became as dead as stone. She's right in front of me, and she can't see me. I was saying to myself, Hare Krishna, she can't see. She's looking straight at me from this distance, such a rare sight. And she can't see, just her eyes turned into stones. And then she went to the next person, and I saw her vision come back. And the next person, and finally she got to her son. And she dragged him out of the circle, pulled him into the kitchen, started beating him. You're having political meetings in my home, you're ruining my career, I trusted you. Mama, no, it's not right. While she's beating him, I'm out the door. I always had a getaway bag packed. So I snuck out the door while she's beating him. And then later that day, the devotees gathered in another location, a safer location, and I asked, what did she say about me? They said, she never saw you. So that was the most dramatic example I ever experienced of how Krishna is the controller of perception. You see what he wants you to see.
Dear Gurudev, all glory, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your divine appearance day. In your recent visit to Melbourne, you gave a most beautiful example in your lecture. You said, unless you understand what is light and heat that come from the sun, how can you understand what the sun is? Referring to the point that one needs to first understand the science of the Supreme Lord before they can even understand who the Supreme Lord is. Extending this elegant example further, I would say, if we cannot understand the spiritual master, how is it possible for us to understand the Supreme Lord? To understand the depth within the heart of the spiritual master and to give one's own heart to the spiritual master, this is the quintessential purpose of life. A purpose that indeed you have gloriously exemplified in your life. From intensely reading 16 hours a day of Chaitanya Charitamrita as your editing service in the BBT, to courageously sneaking behind the Iron Curtain and preaching in the Soviet Union, to traveling around the world extensively preaching and developing preaching centers for the past 4 decades. Not a day goes by that you are not endeavoring to capture the heart of Srila Prabhupada and fulfill his mission. Therefore, for us to understand your heart, one needs to listen to your classes. They are simply beyond nectar, and your words are like Vedic hymns nourishing our desert-like heart and mind. It is a common characteristic that pure devotees don't waste any time, nor do they waste even a single word. Behind every word you voice is an ocean of transcendental realization and deep absorption in Srila Prabhupada's purports. Utilized so meticulously like a surgeon with a blade, you expertly allure the conditioned souls back to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You exhibit gravity in presenting the scriptures like thunderbolts striking our very false bodily identification and curating the most perfect examples and analogies for people from all walks of life to understand. Your expertise in delivering the most cutting-edge research, statistics, global phenomenon, and even pop culture, packaging it all in the most thought-provoking way to simply convince people of the urgency of spiritual revolution. Many times I've witnessed firsthand seeing the expressions of new people's faces when your words trigger that moment of deep contemplation, when the veil of illusory material life gets shattered and they become sober to the reality of material nature. This is quite enjoyable to observe. In my recent darshan before initiation, the first thing you said to me was, how long have we been waiting for you? I felt so uplifted from those words, to know how much love and compassion you have for this insignificant soul, to feel as if you're the hook casted into the ocean of material suffering and is pulling me out to safety. Within the last 12 months, I've experienced an incredible year of expansive services within my bhakti career. From book distribution, preaching events, cultivation, and other services, I was able to accomplish things beyond what I thought was ever imaginable. And I know that in all my endeavors, not a single thing was done by my own accord, and all was carried out through your mercy and empowerment. Not a single action can be performed without the puppeteer pulling the strings. I pray that you continue to pull the strings in my life and make me dance in whatever way you desire. Although I am of no value, please do not discard me. Use me as your puppet on stage and empower me to fulfill your mission. Kindly bestow your strength and protection on me so I can give up all my material desires and anarthas. Allow me to hang on to every single one of your instructions, and if Krishna willing, maybe one day I may be able to understand the depths of your heart and be worthy of your mercy. Your aspiring servant, Rasikendra Das.
Dear Srila Devamrita Swami Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you on this sacred occasion of your Vyasapuja day. On this auspicious day, I am filled with deep gratitude for the opportunity to reflect on your unparalleled guidance and the mercy you have shown me. Through your wisdom and compassion, I have been able to overcome personal shortcomings that once weighed heavily on me. My personal visits to you, where you took time to see me and offer your invaluable insights, have been truly transformative. The clarity and strength I now feel are direct results of your association and your mercy. I am reminded of a beautiful verse from the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam that perfectly captures the glory of a spiritual master. Tasmat gurum prapadyate jignashu shreya uttamam Syabde parecha nishnatam brahmani upashya shram. Therefore, any person who seriously desires real happiness must seek a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. The qualification of the bona fide guru is that he has realized the conclusions of the scriptures by deliberation. He is able to defeat all doubts and he is fully surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You embody these qualities, Maharaj. Your deep knowledge of Shastra and your unshakable surrender to Krishna give us all shelter we so desperately need in this material world. The way you lead by example, fully immersed in the service of Srila Prabhupada, the mission of Lord Chaitanya, has always been a source of great inspiration for me. Your presence in my life has given me the tools to become a better servant of Krishna. I can now see clearly the obstacles that were previously blocking my path, and through your instructions and guidance, I feel a renewed strength to carry forward in my spiritual journey. On this most blessed day, I offer my heartful prayers for your health and continued strength in your service to Srila Prabhupada. May you continue to inspire and guide so many souls with your words and actions, and may Krishna always keep you under his loving protection. Thank you for everything you have done for me. I remain forever indebted to your kindness and mercy. Your aspiring servant, Vishwatma Dasa.
Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your lotus feet. Gurudev, on this Vyasapuja day of yours, I would like to start by wishing you a happy appearance day. Thank you for your presence in our lives and for guiding us to live our Grihastha lives, keeping Krishna at the center always. Also, Gurudev, attending your last free lectures during your recent visit in Melbourne, I would like to express how I am always jaw-dropped in admiration for your immense knowledge of the Shastras, especially how you always tie Shastra knowledge with science and world facts. Listening to you always reinforces in my heart that I am not following anything blindly. Gurudev, I will have to admit that in my head I always imagined you as a very strict father of mine. I always have to think a few times in my head before uttering something. I know dear Shramani keeps on talking about your caring aspect, how you ask about how everyone is doing, but I am very touched to personally witness it this year. I would like to thank you immensely for the invaluable gift you sent for me earlier this year. I didn't get the chance to thank you in person. I know you asked dear Shramani a couple of times if I am using it. There are very few possessions that mean a lot to me and it's close to my heart, which I cherish. For fear of losing it, I keep it safe because it is so invaluable. Dear Father, I would like to end this offering by thanking you for your love and mercy upon all of us. I am grateful for the time and energy you invest to come here, and I pray to Sri Radha Vallabha for your good health and long life. Please always give us your blessings, your servants, Ramanish Ramani and Sudevi Kishori.
Dear Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories unto your lotus feet. The scriptures remind us that while our first birth comes from our parents, our true spiritual awakening occurs through the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. You exemplify this by nurturing countless souls with your profound insights and eloquent outreach. So as a number of devotees have been speaking, just hearing Karunanidhi Krishna Prabhu mentioned that Guru Maharaj's professor, when he was in Yale University, he made a prophecy that he would influence the world as a Yale man, and we can see how Guru Maharaj has influenced, he has a huge influence on the entire world. And particularly in the Melbourne Yatra, we can see we are all, so many of us are a result of his preaching, whether directly or indirectly. So Guru Maharaj has been coming to Melbourne for a long time, since the 90s. He was instrumental in starting the Western outreach here, back then as urban yoga. And we even see with the student retreats. So Maharaj, the first retreat I attended, I remember, was in 2006. And those retreats they're still going on. So Maharaj is very, very consistent in his service. He's very patient, very persistent. And we can see the fruits of that. So many, I've come from that preaching, of course guided by the devotees who are running that preaching and still are running it. And so we can see we are the fruits of that. And even with congregational development, we see Guru Maharaj has a huge influence in that. He's guiding so many grihasthas, doing very big programs. So like lately, he did a program in the western suburbs and in the eastern suburbs. So we can see that he's encouraging the preaching to become bigger and bigger. So, like I heard from the leaders of from Guru Prabhu, Maharaj said, okay, make this bigger. So he's always encouraging devotees to grow the preaching, and that's his influence. And Maharaj is never idle, so I've been fortunate to render some service unto him. And whenever I've rendered service, I usually get exhausted. But Maharaj never tires. So he wakes up very early in the morning every day without fail. He's up early, he takes his shower, gets ready, puts on the tilak, and then he sits down to chant. And he's chanting. His chanting is also with a lot of absorption, not looking here and there or at the phone like we do. But Maharaj is fully absorbed in chanting. A number of times, if you're traveling with him or serving, he will call you in the room and ask you to sit there and chant. So that is an intense experience because he's keeping an eye on you as well. on the quality of your chanting. So sometimes Maharaj will just stare at you. Then you think, what am I doing wrong, So like that, Maharaj is always, he does his rounds, and then quite often he'll have breakfast if he's giving a class. He'll have something to eat, have fruits, and then give a class or have something else, and then come back, have breakfast. And then quite often I've seen him, he just gets into reading. I don't know how many times he has read Chaitanya Charitamrita, but whenever I've served him, I've always seen him reading that book, amongst others as well. And then throughout the day, he will see devotees. If you've been to retreats, you'll see his schedule is very intense. So in between the lectures, there's a long list of devotees. So usually Gopamandesh Prabhu has a long list of devotees to see him, and so many want to see him. So he's seeing so many devotees in between, trying to encourage them and to span the fark of whatever bhakti desire is there, just to grow it. And even with me, for example, one time in 2020, I was walking with him to the Bhagavatam class here in the temple, and that time I expressed a desire to do some outreach. So this was during COVID. I expressed I have a desire to do outreach, and what should I do? And then he said, he basically told me that you should start your own project. He said you should start something. Melbourne is a big city. It can easily take 2, 3, 4, 5 preaching centers, no problem. He said, why don't you start something? So I was like, okay. And then some months later, went back and said, thinking of doing this, and the name of the project, we want to call it Bhakti Corner. And he was very happy with the name. Guru Maharaj was very happy. One thing he told me I remember very well. He said, let's see how Krishna, let's see where this project goes. Whether Krishna opens the tap for you or you get a few drops. So I remember that very well. And I was hoping the tap would open, but was certainly a few drops. And that is also Krishna's way of testing us. And Guru Maharaj also told me that you have to remember, you have to be persistent and patient, and stick at your service. Then Krishna will send help in due course of time. So by Guru Maharaj's mercy now, some few people are coming regularly, they're doing service, so you can see his blessings and benediction taking effect. So of course, it hasn't been easy, like doing preaching. Challenges have been there, but by Guru Maharaj's mercy, things are moving forward. So I just want to say, while my efforts may be small and the scale limited, myself and my wife are doing what we can in terms of our current circumstances. And with your mercy, I pray that the preaching will continue to grow and flourish. And I seek your strength and blessings to navigate this journey. Thank you for your guidance and support. Your servant, Nanda Mandir Das.
Dear Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you. On this occasion, on this auspicious day of your Vyasapuja, I wish you good health and pray to Lord Krishna that you continue to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission with great enthusiasm. Looking back, I see that for the most part of my life, I was going through the motions, whether at school, college, work, or home. Modern society had made me so dull-headed that even though I understood my material pursuits were not coming from my heart and were ultimately making me miserable, I simply carried on because I did not know what else to do with myself. Reading Srila Prabhupada's book, Life Comes from Life, given to me by a book distributor, convinced me that there is a God who is a person and that He has a plan for me. How excited I felt after reading that book. It even equipped me to argue with my atheistic friends about the existence of God. Some years later, I had the opportunity to to attend my first retreat at the Hare Krishna farm, where you were the guest speaker. Since then, the little spark that lit in my heart from reading Srila Prabhupada's book has been continuously fanned by your merciful association. You often quote from Srila Prabhupada's purport in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse 42. Seeing in the darkness is not seeing, but seeing by the light of the sun means to see the sun and everything else which was unseen in the darkness. You are that sun in my life who helps me understand Srila Prabhupada's books, so I can see my existence for what it is and what it is meant for. Recently, I could not contain my excitement when I read Srila Prabhupada's purport in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, verse 46. Because the Kumaras were sons of Brahma, they had the opportunity to learn Vedic knowledge from the disciplic succession of Brahma. And therefore, in spite of their impersonalist beginnings, they became in the end direct seers of the personal feature of the Lord. I thought, wow, this is my destination also. You have connected me to the disciplic succession of Brahma, and one day I will also see the Lord face to face. A dull-headed person living in an aimless life, wasted mostly in performing Kali Yuga activities, is now standing in queue, which may be millions of lifetimes long, but nevertheless, to see the Lord face to face. This is the mercy of my spiritual master. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhama Janara Bandhu Lokenath Jivana Haha Prabhu Korodaya Deho More Padachaya Epijasa Gusuktri Bhuvana. This mercy cannot be expressed here in adequate words and can never be fully comprehended by my tiny self. As you say, Srila Prabhupada has given us the ticket, we should not drop it. I pray that I always remain in the association of devotees. It is by their desire that you have come into my life. I hope to always serve them and not make offenses. Please give me the strength and intelligence to always serve you and please you. Your servant Gokul Sundari Devidas.
Can I just request all the devotees to move forward, please, a bit? Whom are you saying?
Hare Krishna Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Vyasapuja is a great occasion and opportunity for a disciple to meditate on and glorify the divine qualities of the spiritual master. Our efforts in comprehending your wonderful qualities can be compared to Dr. Frog of the well in trying to understand the size of the ocean. However, please allow us to try to glorify your holiness only for our own purification. Vrindavan is the realm beyond material world and is the topmost destination of dedicated bhakti practitioners. Vrindavan, however, is not just limited to a geographical location, but is also the state of consciousness. Mood of Vrindavan is a daily festival. This mood of festival is experienced by us every time you visit Melbourne. A festival has different aspects: preparation, anticipation, the day of festivities and celebration, and the post-festival wrap-up and recovery to get back to the business as usual. Prior to your arrival in Melbourne, there is a great amount of preparations to make the most of your visit. You are an expert in everything that you do, and you expect your disciples to also be expert in arranging all the programs for you. Closer to your arrival, there is an anticipation to see you in action at the scheduled events and a lot of prayers that nothing goes wrong during these events. Your arrival brings a wave of enthusiasm as you inspire devotees to chant Hare Krishna, read and distribute Srila Prabhupada's books, and associate with devotees. You are always ecstatic in the kirtans, dancing and fully expressing the joy of kirtan while asking everyone else to sing and dance. In various occasions, when devotees were not fully participating to the kirtans, you again and again gestured them to get off the mental platform and participate in the chanting and dancing. You often point out book distribution to be the reason of your success in outreaching non-Indian audience, and you are always encouraging devotees to distribute books. At the latest Melbourne Bhadra campaign celebrations, you were most joyful, throwing your arms up in the air, hearing the scores of the Bhagavatams distributed. Your personal interactions with devotees are short but meaningful. With your transcendental vision, you very quickly point out where a devotee is at and instruct them to get out of their version of Maya. These instructions are like the sutras, very short and deep. It's always a treat to see you in action at the outreach, as you, a great general in Srila Prabhupada's mission, unwaveringly and determinedly deliver the science of Krishna Bhakti, perfectly tailored and delivered to the audience. Your audiences, both new and regular, love to see you, hear your thought-provoking lectures, and sing along with your ecstatic kirtans, and they always leave the venue feeling enlightened and inspired by your presence. While we rest and recover, somewhat overwhelmed by the activities of few days in your presence, spiritually nourished but materially exhausted, you continue your Sankirtan festival with the same vigor unto your next destination. It's very hard for a tiny brain to understand how do you continue to do this day after day. The festive atmosphere of your presence is due to your great enthusiasm to chant, read, and serve Srila Prabhupada's books. You constantly instruct us to similarly chant with enthusiasm and read Srila Prabhupada's book every day. In one darshan, you instructed me to read every day. But Gurudev, there are so many services and it's very hard. Gurudev said, there will always be something, so no excuses. Thank you, Gurudev, for showing us the peak potential for bhakti and the process to get there. I wish to continue to serve Krishna and his wonderful devotees with enthusiasm in such a way that I may please them. As I take my baby steps towards that great goal, I humbly seek your blessings, your aspiring servant, Dvija Pitambar Das.
Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances at your divine lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Happy Vyasapuja Gurudev. Though I am not qualified and unable to find the right words to glorify you, I am still taking the opportunity to glorify you with my very limited abilities for my own purification. On this auspicious day of Vyasapuja, so blessed, I offer my obeisances and gratefulness. O Gurudeva, you are so compassionate and wise. Your wisdom and knowledge dispel the darkest skies. O my spiritual father, your heart is so pure. Your mercy and blessings are the sacred cure that guide us out of this material snare and places us in Krishna's care. You set ablaze the bhakti's fire, awakening the fallen soul's desire to serve the Lord in endless grace and forever shine in his embrace. With each breath, your grace we feel, your presence makes our spirits heal. O guiding light, in you we confide, your merciful glance washes away our pride. As Bhagavad Gita's knowledge guides the soul, you're leading us toward the final goal. To serve Shri Krishna with love sincere, in you his presence is so clear. Your teachings are like the rising sun, awakening us and our fears undone. With every step you lead us with care, clearing all our doubts that linger there. With every teaching you have purified my soul and made bhakti my highest goal. With deepest gratitude I praise your grace for granting me this rightful place. May I walk the path you pave and follow the instructions that you gave. Through life's great battles and every test, I promise I follow you and give my best. I promise I'll follow you and give my best. Please keep showering your love and mercy upon me and my family. Hare Krishna, your daughter Nisha Brul.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Devamrita Swamin iti namine Prachari Purvadakshayam cha Bhaktachar Pravinta Prarthartapi Karunyam Yasya Sarve Jate Namaha. Dear Srila Gurudev, please accept our humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This year marks the 5th year of our rebirth. We have been contemplating on where are we in the path of bhakti, and found that we are still at preliminary neophyte stages where too many anarthas lingering in our heart and struggling to chant attentively. The more we think about these things, the more we find ourselves being wretched and fallen, and immediately our mind runs after your lotus feet. That is our only hope of survival in bhakti. Again and again we offer prostrate obeisances to your lotus feet. You are the personification of extended compassion Shakti of the Parampara. Your good self travels around the globe and imprints your lotus feet all over the places. You carry the Supreme Personality of Godhead within your heart and turn all the places into places of pilgrimage. As it is rightly said by King Yudhishthira to Vidura, that Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani. A pure devotee turns any place a holy dham by his presence. You are a traveling holy dham, Srila Gurudev. Your physical presence boosts our enthusiasm in bhakti. We have witnessed your kirtans in Melbourne that you bring a current of bhakti that runs in our veins, and we find ourselves jumping high in the air out of ecstasy. Your Vani has a profound effect on people's consciousness, and you purify their existence. You are so expert in delivering the message of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that you give a complete dosage of a capsule with 2 shells. First, you untangle our knots of material existence by reminding us that misidentification of ourselves with the body is the root cause of our suffering. And then at the end, you shower the nectar drops of the sweet pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Your powerful series in Gita and Nagari about Jad Bharat instructs Maharaj Rahugana had a tremendous effect on our consciousness. The more we hear this series, the more we find ourselves being cured and relishing the sweetness of nectar. There are many things that intrigued us in that series. However, we would like to mention 3 of them. First, you mentioned that we are not a human beings having a spiritual experience. Rather, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Second, nowhere in Bhagavad Gita Krishna says to believe in him. And at last, at the end, someone asked you that, Maharaj, why did you choose this subject matter to speak about? Your reply was, because we don't get it, that we are not the body, but a spirit soul. And it needs to be reminded again and again. I remember that how one of these sentences transformed one's consciousness. Earlier this year, I went to the grocery store where I met one Western man looking at the cover of the Bhagavad Gita as it is, sitting on the side of the counter. I approached and told him that this book is very fascinating and it talked about different types of yoga. He immediately replied, "Oh, it's your belief. Don't try to enforce your belief upon me." Then I said, "What I heard from you, that nowhere in Bhagavad Gita Krishna says to believe in him. He says that you experiment yourself and experience the results." As soon as I said that, his consciousness changed and he was like, "Really? He doesn't ask to believe in him?" I said, "Yes, it's not a belief system, but a spiritual science." In the beginning, he was a bit impolite, but later he started to respect after hearing these words. At the end, he was favorably inclined to purchase that book. So I realized the power of your speech, that how these words uplift the consciousness of people in general. Oh dear Father, on this auspicious occasion of your appearance, We pray for the spiritual strength to continue being in a position to serve you unmotivatedly and unconditionally. Your humble servants, Uttam Bhakti Das, Raga Bhakti Devi Dasi, Radhe and Vrinda.
We'll just see another video of Gurudev preaching experience in Bulgaria in the early days.
I remember the last time back then that I came to Bulgaria. I think I told you maybe some years ago, famous border incident. Who remembers? For those who didn't hear it before. So I was with my godbrother, Krishna Kshetra, now Krishna Kshetra Swami. And we were veterans of going to so many different Soviet bloc countries.
Ние бяхме ветерани от толкова много различни бивши социалистически държави.
We were experienced with the most strict and most militant border crossings.
Ние имахме голям опит с най-добрите и агресивни граничари в соцлагера.
Going back and forth between West Berlin and East Berlin.
Преминавайки между източен и западен Берлин.
Entering the Deutschland Democratic Republic.
Влизайки в Германската демократична република.
East Germany.
Източна Германия.
And then what used to be called Czechoslovakia.
И след това което се наричаше преди Чехословакия.
Very strict.
Много стриктни.
But Bulgaria, we always laughed at. Not the people, but the border police. They were kind of, they just didn't seem to be too bright. So we would always relax when coming to Bulgaria. Oh, we are so expert, and it's a joke for us to have to deal with Bulgarian border police. They're no challenge for us. We were accustomed to the East German border police who would have these big X-ray machines and would X-ray everything in your car, even your cushions that you sat on.
Ние бяхме свикнали с тези германски полицаи, граничари, които пускаха на рентген всичко, което е вътре в колата, включително и седалките, постелките.
Once they searched the whole car, and then I thought, okay, that's over with.
Днес те претърсиха цялата кола и тогава си помислих, най-накрая всичко свърши.
And they were about to let us go.
Тък му бяха готови да ни пуснат.
But then they said, aha! They pointed to one driver cushion I was sitting on. You know, one cushion pillow you put on top of the driver's seat to make it more comfortable.
Посочиха една такава седалка като възглавничка на шофьорското седалка, за да може да се чувстваш по-удобно.
We want to put this in the X-ray machine.
Искаме и това да го караме в рентгена да видим.
Oh no. Inside it was my address book.
Вътре беше моята адресна книга.
With the names and addresses of contacts.
С адресите и имената на всички контакти.
So they took the cushion, they put it in the X-ray machine.
Те взеха седалката, възглавничката и сложиха я в...
And their eyes lit up. Aha!
Очите им светнаха. Аха!
And they pulled out the address book from inside the cushion. You hid this. And now we will keep it. Another time, this is going into East Germany. They were the strictest.
Един друг път това е влизане в източна Германия. Те бяха най-стриктните.
They used all their Deutschland fanaticism in the wrong way. So I had a big, in the glove compartment in the car, you know, that front, I had about 50 maps. This is before there was GPS. And in one of those 50 maps, I had some currency hidden. Why hidden? Because you were supposed to declare every single bit of currency you had.
Защо скрито? Защото се предполага да декларираш абсолютно всички валута, пари, които имаш.
And you weren't supposed to take the currency of one communist country into another communist country.
Не беше позволено да вземеш валутата от една комунистическа държава в друга комунистическа.
The currency was so valuable.
Защото тази валута беше толкова ценна.
That's a joke. So the border police, he took out all the maps.
И граничарите взеха всички тези карти.
He said, oh no.
Не.
And he took each map and opened it.
Всички тия карти една по една ги разтваряше.
One after another. I had 50 maps. So, oh, when is he going to get to the one with the currency? And then, oh no.
И се чудех кога ли ще стигна до тая с парите.
So, one after another.
Една след друга.
And right before he got to the map with the money in it, he stopped.
Точно преди да стигне с картата с парите, той спря.
And decided instead they would take one of these long rods and stick it in our petrol tank to see if anything was hidden there.
Решиха да вземат от тия дълги такива пръчки да го вкарат в нашия резервоар, да видят дали ние сме скрили нещо в резервоара.
Those are crazy times.
Бяха луди години.
So when we would come to Bulgaria, we thought, oh, we just relax. These guys aren't too smart. They don't have the fanaticism of the Germans. They're probably nice guys. So we pulled into the passport control with our car.
И така спряхме пред паспортния контрол с колата.
We were being very undercover.
И бяхме много така прикрити.
We thought.
Мислехме си.
We were driving a Lada.
Ние карахме Лада.
With Swiss number plates. How often do you see a Lada with Swiss number plates? It took us a while to figure that out. People look and say, what? You from Switzerland? You're driving a Lada? This is madness. So we came to the passport control and gave our passports. And we wondered, why are the police hesitating and they act like something's going on? And so then they said, they motioned, drive into their special garage. Where they tear everything in the car apart. Go under the car. And analyze everything in the engine. So Krishna Kshetra and I were thinking, what are they doing this for? The Bulgarian border guards, they're a joke. Why are they wasting our time? We have an appointment with devotees in Sofia. But these border police, they were nice guys. Not stern like the Germans. That's what They weren't like that. Barking like the German border police. So Krishna Sage and I thought, oh, guys, give us a break. Let us go. Come on. Stop wasting our time. So they searched everything, and of course they found nothing. Because we were expert. No neck beads, no Brahmin's threads. So while they're searching the car, they didn't know English, so they just said some words. They found some incense. They said, Buddha? We just looked at them like, what are you talking about? Krishna? Huh? They had obviously got some report that watch out for persons with incense or beads or anything, and it could be Buddha, it could be Krishna. Be on guard. So they were scratching their heads. And Krishna Sage and I were just, come on, guys, let us go. We have to meet some devotees in Sofia. We are pros. We only deal with the best border guards. So they searched and searched, and they didn't know any English practically. As I said, they just were asking, Buddha, Krishna. And we would just act like we never heard those words before. So then they're about to let us go, but they saw my cassettes. None of our cassettes had labels on. So that way no one could tell what we were listening to. The labels on the cassettes didn't say Srila Prabhupada lecture, nothing like that. So one of the border guards pointed to the cassettes. I want here. I want here. Kassetten, I want here. We said, okay. We were thinking, you want to try to understand Prabhupada's accent? You don't know any English, and you want to try to listen to a Prabhupada lecture? We were just, come on, guys, you're wasting our time. Go ahead. I want here. I want here. So we said, oh, sure. We'll just put in the cassette, and they'll never understand Prabhupada's accent. Even people who know English have a difficult time at first understanding Prabhupada's accent. I said, okay, here. I'll put in the cassette, into the cassette player. And get this over with. They're wasting our time. I turned the volume up and I put the cassette in. Out comes Prabhupada's voice, thundering. This is real religion, not Buddha, but Krishna. He said the three words that only three words they would probably know. Religion, Krishna, Buddha. They looked at us. So then we knew what was happening next. They said, now you may go, you may proceed, go on to Sophia.
Те ми казаха, сега, ние знаем какво ще ни кажат, те ми казаха, сега вече може да се тръгвате към София.
We know what that meant.
Ние знаем какво
It's like cat and the mouse game.
Това е игра на котка и мишка.
The cat lets the mouse go, and then the cat follows the mouse to see all the mouse's associates.
Котката пуска мишката да се тръгне и след това я следи я, за да открие всичките приятели на мишката.
So we knew they're following us.
И знаех, те ни следят.
They want us to proceed to Sophia, and as they follow us, they'll see all the contacts.
Знаехме, те ни следят и искат да открият всичките ни контакти в София.
So we were supposed to meet one devotee in the Hotel Sophia,
Ние се предполагаше да срещнем един
in the
приятел
lobby.
в хотел София в лобите.
And then from there, he would take us to where the 3 other devotees were gathered.
И оттам той трябваше да ни закара там, където другите 3 преданни се бяха събрали.
So I had to tell him we're being watched.
И аз трябваше да му кажа, следят ми, да ме преди, че не следят.
So I came up to him in the hotel lobby.
Отидох до него в лобите на...
I explained to him, they caught us at the border, they're following us, we can't have any meetings with devotees.
Казах, виж какво, имам предвид, че те ни хванаха на границата, в момента ни следят и не може да имаме никакви срещи с съдбати.
He said, I know.
Той каза, знам.
I said, how do you know?
Как знаеш?
He said, I was called to talk to the secret police last week.
Две седмици ми се обадиха от тайната полиция.
And they told me to tell them everything because they already knew everything.
Казвай си всичко, защото ние вече знаем, че знаем.
That's the oldest secret police trick.
Това е най-стария трик на тайната полиция.
We already know everything, so just tell us.
Ние вече знаем. Как признай се, няма смисъл.
Some most ordinary persons would fall for such a trick.
Повечето хора
And just, oh, you know everything, okay, so I will tell you.
те знаят, тя че връща казват.
So that's what this devotee had done.
Това е което той прави.
So I said, oh no. So we wanted to see the devotees, but we couldn't go to their houses. So we met in the mountains surrounding Sophia. I can't remember where, but we drove into the mountains. We had a kirtan outside in the mountains. And then we left. So that was the last time during the communist times that I came to Bulgaria.
Това беше последното посещение в България по време на комунизма.
That's interesting to hear, from him himself, what all risks and adventures he's gone through just to share Krishna consciousness with us. I remember him saying one time, they were in some one of these Soviet countries, and just to find somebody to speak to, they would travel miles. And somehow they got a contact of one person. Somebody saw this person walking on the street with a Shiva t-shirt, and they just drove miles just to go and speak with him, because that's the only contact they had, who could, they thought, could be interested in Krishna consciousness. So we'll continue with our offerings.
My dear Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Gurudev. Gurudev, happy Appearance Day. On this special occasion of your birthday, I pray to Krishna for your health and well-being. I have been reflecting on a profound experience. The first time I met you, I couldn't stop crying, and even for hours after, I felt an overwhelming sense of bliss, and tears flowed uncontrollably. This experience remains attached in my heart, but I don't fully understand why it happened. If you can, please help me to understand what caused such a powerful reaction within me. Gurudeva, I would like to share with you that after my grandfather passed away, I deeply missed him. He was a devotee of the Lord Rama, and since his passing, I have often felt that void. While praying to Krishna, it felt as though he answered by bringing you in my life. Thank you for giving me all your shelter. Often I think about the questions I want to ask you to get your personal darshan, but I always think that my question seems having no importance. But I deeply hope to see you again, and I will try my best to find a better questions to ask. As you always say that if we have anything important to ask, then only we are allowed to have your personal darshan. Can you please allow us some time to see you without having any questions? With your devotion and gratitude, Anshu. Thank you.
I just need to request once more time if everyone can just move forward, please. Okay. As you can do that.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Sorry, my printer ran out of pages this morning when I wanted to print. I have to peek into this phone now. So please bear with me. Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept our heartiest wishes to you on your transcendental appearance day today. At the outset, we take this opportunity to thank His Grace Anirudh Prabhu as well as your dear disciples for kindly giving us the opportunity to render this humble offering unto your lotus feet. Maharaj, sometime in mid-May, I was writing an open book essay in partial fulfillment of the requirements of the Bhakti Sarvabhauma course, ably conducted by our teacher, His Grace Keshav Prabhu. My topic was the real purpose of sannyasa, and our key reference was Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila chapter 3, which talks about the mood and activities of Lord Chaitanya as soon as he accepts the renounced order. In one of his purports to that section, Srila Prabhupada writes that determination to serve the Lord, also known as Paratma Nishtha, and not just external dress, qualifies a sannyasi. The sannyasa dress is actually an attraction for material formality. However, the essence is to serve Lord Mukunda or Krishna. Srila Prabhupada also explains the purpose of Tridanda as the commitment a sannyasi makes to serve humanity through his mind, body, and words. As I embarked on the journey of this essay, my mind automatically gravitated towards you. In a world where material qualifications are leveraged by everyone to increase one's name, fame, position, wealth, prestige, and power, we have an example in you who dovetails it simply for the purpose of spreading Krishna consciousness. And you are willing to adopt any external behavior that you deem fit towards this outcome, and thus you have the ability to appeal to a diverse audience. In as much as your lectures are deep and grave, you always seem to make it light for the consumption of such diverse audience. In doing so, you are able to relate to a wide diaspora, be it Indians or Westerners, householders or celibates, students or professionals, young or old, and all gender types. This, in my view, is your hallmark, and practicing preachers stand to learn immensely from the high standards you have set in dissemination of the Krishna conscious philosophy. It will be inadequate to say that this is your talent, which undoubtedly you have, but it takes a practicing devotee years to understand that the overarching principle is not just your talent, rather your purity and compassion unto the suffering souls. Your style of messaging reflects your unwavering commitment to evangelize Srila Prabhupada's message throughout this planet in a way that seeks not to merely inform, rather help transform. And you have worked tirelessly to give these values to your glorious disciples, many of whom are role models in our congregation. We feel very proud of our temple when we see the empowerment of His Grace Gopavrindesh Prabhu in Shastras, Dvijapatambar Prabhu in book distribution, Taste for Holy Name in Vishnivams Prabhu, Guru Nishtha of the Katha and Brahmakund family, enthusiasm of Nandamandir Prabhu in Western preaching, service attitude of Vaishnav Charan Prabhu, humility of Sevya Bhagavan Prabhu, and so many more, all of whose glories cannot be described in short time. On your Vyasapuja day, we thank you for giving us not only your association, but also the association of glorious disciples cultivated by you, from each of who we aspire to learn different aspects of Krishna consciousness. On this supremely auspicious day, we pray that Sri Sri Radha Vallabha bestows upon you good health and long life, so that you are able to fulfill all your service aspirations unto your beloved spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. Your servants Jagannath Ram Das and Yamuna Lila Devi Dasi.
Dear Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you on this auspicious day of your Vyasapuja. I feel very grateful to be amongst these amazing devotees who are serving you. 9 years ago, in a podcast titled The Great Secret, How to Handle Fire of Desire, some experts from there that you mentioned, you said in the podcast, this is a secret that no one knows. Desire cannot be satisfied. Everything is measured as per economics. Economics means organized material desires that will never be fulfilled. Fire of desire can be doused only by purifying senses. Engage in devotional service. Hare Krishna mantra extinguishes the blazing fire of material desires. The reason of bringing this up is because recently I had the opportunity to work with almost 1,100 real estate tycoons who came from India to Australia for a 3-day conference. They spent months of planning to ensure the success of the event, and their desire was to ensure that they have the best time while they are in Australia, surrounded by alcohol. And that was the desire. Casinos, alcohol, that's what they wanted. Parties. This gave me a very insightful glimpse of how elaborate arrangements were made to fulfill the desires. They spent, $2 million to make sure that the desires are fulfilled in terms of enjoyment. And they continue doing so on their return when they go back to India. They had mentioned to me that on next month in November, they again have an event where they'll be doing the same thing. So it's the desires. I feel very fortunate to be sheltered under your guidance and learning to develop spiritual desires. In Bhagavad Gita 3:21, Yad yad acharati sheshtas tadda devataro janaha sa yad parmanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. Whatever action is performed by a great man, common man follows in his footsteps. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. This is from Prabhupada's purport. Therefore, a teacher must follow the principle of Shastra to reach the common man. The teacher cannot manufacture rules against the principles of revealed scriptures. The revealed scriptures like Manu Samhita and similar others are considered the standard books to be followed of by human society. Thus, the leader's teaching should be based on the principles of the standard rules as they are practiced by great teachers. I am a common man and feel fortunate to come in contact with you and pray that I am always following you. In the year 2012, in your Vyasapuja offering to Srila Prabhupada, you wrote in your offering, how is it that I am chanting Hare Krishna more and still loving it more with each passing day? Why is it that for almost 40 years I've read Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and especially Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita over and over, and still I think I've barely touched the depths? What kind of hankering is it that I beg for intelligence from the Super Soul to better serve you any way you want? That's your offering, part of the offering to Srila Prabhupada. Personally, for me, it's very difficult to comprehend this love of Krishna that you have and the love for reading his books that you have. I see it every day when you stay at our place, and it's just amazing. Be it early mornings, you will be awake at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and get on your japa, have your books around you. You make arrangements to have your room set up so that you can touch Prabhupada books. It's not just a virtual iPad, but you want to touch them. In this is going off the offering right now. In this recent conference, there was a CEO of Book My Ticket, which is the biggest, like a TicketX in Australia, where everyone sells tickets. So there's a Book My Ticket. And I happened to share this with Gurudev when he was here. So that Book My Ticket was doing a presentation on the business of how they have become the monopolistic or the biggest business supplying tickets or making that facility for any events or organizations. And in one of the presentations, then he said, oh, we took a leaf out of Krishna's life. What was that leaf? This is how he was orating in front of 1100 people about Krishna and Bhagavad Gita. He said, Krishna was a cheat. Krishna was a cheater. And he said 3 things. What is that Krishna cheated? Oh, Krishna had so many girls around them. So Krishna is a cheat. Number 2, he said, oh, Krishna was instrumental in changing the evening so that he could kill Karna, so that the sun could be stopped. So we took, as a business, we took a leaf out of that, and we also applied that in the business to cheat people. He's saying that to 1100 people. That we also took that as an example, and we took to cheat people. What was the cheating they did? Oh, we try and add 5 rupees or 2 rupees to the price of the ticket, which can be used for CSR services, community services, which people have to opt in, they cannot opt out. Unless you opt out, it's be charged to you. And then he's saying, oh, we made crores of rupees. This is how we used the example. I shared this with you. And you were like, did you stand up to say that Krishna is not a cheater? That was your reaction. And I humbly said, I tried, but he ran away as soon as we did that, So, I pray to you and hope I can develop the similar understanding as per your offering to Srila Prabhupada and your feelings on chanting and reading. And I pray that you keep us engaged in devotional service. And bless us to continue serving you. Your servant, Bhagavad Katha Das.
Dear Guru Maharaj, we offer our humble obeisances at your lotus feet. On this sacred day of your appearance, it is a time to ponder on the profound impact you have had in Srila Prabhupada's mission. Prabhupada says that a genuine spiritual master speaks solely Krishna's words and acts according to Krishna's desire. Following Srila Prabhupada and our revered Acharyas, you have devoted nearly 50 years to spreading Krishna's glories, tirelessly creating opportunities for others to embrace devotional service. Your unwavering dedication must be bringing immense joy to Srila Prabhupada. Your every word and action is according to the desire of Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. Your extraordinary life of service comes from a deep love for Srila Prabhupada and Krishna, exemplifying Krishna's instruction, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. This quality is the greatest quality of purified souls. We eagerly seek your blessings and are always grateful for your mercy, which surrounds us with devoted God brothers and sisters. Your exemplary love and commitment inspires us to follow in your footsteps. We humbly request your continued mercy that we may become worthy instruments in your service. Your servants Dinodhari Das, Satyadhari Devidasi and Krishna Das.
Dear Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and to you. As Srila Prabhupada says in his dialogue between himself and a peace worker called Bob Cohen, a guru is a representative of God. I feel that you spread his glories just as a representative would. Prabhupada also goes on to state 3 points on the symptoms of a guru. Number 1, he should come from an authorized disciplic succession. Number 2, he should have heard of the Vedas thoroughly from his guru. Number 3, he should be a pure devotee. I feel that you fill all these criteria completely, if not more. Recently, when me and my family had come for your darshan, I had shown you my copywriting book, which was handwritten from your book, Hiding in Unnatural Happiness. You had taken a look at it and said that my handwriting was clear and clean. This comment made me feel really happy from inside. You had also shown me a mistake in my writing relating to the copying itself. These 2 incidences show your grandfatherly affection for me. I feel truly lucky to have you as my spiritual grandfather and well-wisher. During that same darshana, you had told my parents that the Krishna-conscious life inside a home should be strong. I feel that I have taken these words seriously and I have started chanting 7 rounds daily and helping my father dressing my family's Gaurnita deities. I feel that without you, I could have been a deranged child in the outer suburbs of Melbourne. In fact, if you were not there, my father would not have been initiated and I would not have even been born. You are like the life buoy which I am struggling to hold on to, the savior that is helping me from drowning into the ocean of the material world. Please bless me so I can continue to hold on as hard as I can to your transcendental buoy, even though my Devi is prying my fingers off one by one. Your insignificant servant, Narottam.
That's Leela Katha Mataji's offering.
Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you on this most auspicious day. Guru Maharaj, with great humility, I offer my heartfelt gratitude for the mercy you have shown to us, shown to this unworthy soul. It is only through your grace that I have been able to approach even a glimpse of Lord Krishna's divine teachings and chant His holy names. Without your compassion and guidance, I would remain lost. I humbly beg for your continued blessings that I may always remember Krishna and remain steadfast in my service, however small it may be. Please help me, Guru Maharaj, to walk this spiritual path with sincerity, humility and devotion, always seeking to please you and the Lord. Your servant eternally, Lilakata Devidasi.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudeva, Sri Gauranitai, Sri Jagannath Baldev Subramai, and all Vaishnavas. Dear Gurudev, please accept our humble obeisances. Your glories are unlimited. We will attempt to put some on a piece of paper today. We have not met anyone as kind and caring as you, Srila Gurudeva. Your compassion and selflessness shine brightly, touching the lives of all those who encounter you. You embody the essence of true service, always putting others first and offering support in both spiritual and material ways. Your ability to nurture our spiritual growth while providing a safe space for us to express ourselves is a rare gift. Through your actions and teachings, you encourage us to cultivate love and kindness in our own lives, reminding us of the importance of serving one another. Thank you for being a beacon of hope and guiding light on our spiritual journey. Your passion for distributing books is truly remarkable. Your continual demonstration of vibrant service attitude is truly inspiring. It reflects a deep commitment to helping others and a genuine enthusiasm for making a difference. Your dedication not only uplifts those around you, but also fosters a sense of community and connection. It's this unwavering spirit that motivates others to engage and contribute, creating a ripple effect of positivity and service. Your approach reminds us of all the importance of selflessness and the joy that comes from giving. We are actively facilitating Bhaktivedanta for preaching, nurturing the spiritual growth of our community. In addition to this important work, we have a strong desire to engage in book distribution as a means to further spread the message of the Lord. We humbly seek your empowerment and guidance in this endeavor. Please help us to embrace this service wholeheartedly, enabling us to share the wisdom and teachings of our tradition with others. Together may we inspire countless souls and deepen their connection with the divine. Please bless us with the understanding and ability to serve you unconditionally, so that we may truly reflect your teachings and intentions in our actions. Grant us the wisdom to recognize opportunities for service, the strength to overcome any obstacles, and the humility to accept guidance. Help us to cultivate a heart full of love and compassion, allowing us to please you in all the endeavors and to bring joy to those around us. A personal request, please allow us to take your darshan even though we don't have any questions for you. Gurudeva, please always keep us under your divine shelter. Vyasapuja Maha Mahotsav ki Jai. Aspiring to be your humble servants, Karunyamrita Das, Lavanyamrita Dasi, Achintanitai, Agrani Gaura, and Achyuta Hari. Thank you.
Dear Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I take this opportunity on this auspicious day to convey my heartfelt gratitude for guiding us into our journey towards Krishna consciousness. From the very start, you built the foundation which we needed to build the Krishna consciousness on. I remember from our first retreat, I had this question that, we are spending this time in all these retreats and losing so much money by sitting here, because if I'm sitting here for 4 hours, if I'm making $50 per hour, at least I've lost $200. And I don't know if Krishna exists or not. So how do we understand this? Then you changed the whole scenario and you said, what will happen if you keep on doing whatever you're doing? What will you take at the end of the day? And my answer was nothing. Then you asked, are you sure? I said yes. Then you asked, just imagine if Krishna exists and you come to know at the end that Krishna is there. So if you don't change your path, you will certainly go to zero, but there is a chance in Krishna consciousness. So that gave me a solid foundation to understand that if I don't change my path to Krishna consciousness, I'm certainly going to zero and certainly going to failure. So then so many other seminars, Vyayati, and there was one seminar on how average American is as happy as a rickshaw puller in India. So all those built that big building to understand what is the right direction and what should we be doing. And then coming to sometime we think that you are serious only. I've seen the humorous side as well. In the recent trip coming from Verbi back to the temple, back to the accommodation, you asked a question, how do you know accountants and lawyers are not lying? We didn't have any idea. Then you said when the lawyer is not moving his lips. So these are the sides which we sometimes don't see, but do exist. And we sincerely pray that please keep on guiding us so that we can take this seriously. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Dear Gurudev, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you, Gurudev. How inconceivable that selfish, destructive persons like us find ourselves in the presence of such a brilliant, eloquent devotee of Lord Chaitanya like you, Gurudev. You bring value and meaning into our lives by allowing us to perform devotional service. You are such an inspiration. Your kirtans are the real sound baths, immersing participants in the holy name and making their troubles and distractions vanish. Your recitation of the Premadvani prayers is so joyfully intense, helping us snap out of our mechanical ways. Your classes bring clarity and hope. In a recent class, you condensed our multifarious pursuits into pursuing awesome or good. This perspective helps me during the days to question my intentions and actions. Your descriptions of pastimes bring so much flavor into the parts of the Bhagavatam that we thought we had heard before. Thank you for allowing us a part in assisting you in your merciful outreach to the conditioned souls. In one of your podcasts, you describe the potential in cooking for Krishna, that by the devotee's devotion, Krishna's presence becomes tangible to the person who honors such prasadam. As unqualified as we are, we humbly beg for a fraction of such consciousness when performing our cooking service for you, for your pleasure, Gurudev. Your aspiring servants, Vaishnav Charan Das and Yasumati Devidasi.
Hare Krishna, dear Gurudev. Please accept my humble obeisances. I am ever grateful for the opportunity to serve and learn from you. You are a guiding light in my life, illuminating my path with wisdom and love of Srila Prabhupada's teachings. You embody the teachings of Shastras, bringing the timeless knowledge of Krishna consciousness into our lives with clarity and simplicity. I am in awe of your ability to make the most profound spiritual truths accessible and relevant. Your dedication to spreading the teachings of Lord Krishna and Srila Prabhupada is an inspiration. Through your words and actions, you reveal the mercy and compassion of the Lord, guiding countless souls like me back to their original purpose. I feel an immense personal connection to you, Gurudev. Your infectious laugh and your joyful presence have a unique way of alleviating the anxieties and stresses of this age. When you speak of the challenge of modern life with humor and insight, it feels as though you are directly addressing my heart. In your presence, I experience a peace and tranquility that I have not known elsewhere. This connection with you has deepened my faith and brought me closer to Krishna in ways I never thought was possible. I humbly acknowledge my position as your disciple, dependent upon your mercy and guidance. Without you, Gurudev, I am like a kite without a string, aimlessly floating without purpose and direction. I am deeply grateful for the shelter you have provided at your lotus feet, where I find solace, security, and purpose. I am nothing but a humble servant yearning to serve you and assist in your divine mission. Please, Gurudev, grant me the strength to follow this path of bhakti under your guidance. I pray for the wisdom and courage to resist the distractions of Maya, which often threatens to lead me astray. Bless me that I may remain firmly anchored to this path, unwavering in my devotion and service. May I always be under your shelter, faithfully following your instructions, so that I may one day become a worthy disciple who brings you joy and honor. Your eternally grateful servant, Vishnu Priyeshwadas.
Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you on this most auspicious occasion of your Vyasapuja celebration. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 6:16:6. Purport. In the transmigration of the soul through different bodies, everyone in every form of life, be it human, animal, tree, or demigod, gets a father and mother. This is not very difficult. The difficulty is to obtain a bona fide spiritual master and Krishna. Therefore, the duty of a human being is to capture the opportunity to come in touch with Krishna's representative, the bona fide spiritual master. Under the guidance of the spiritual master, the spiritual father, one can return home, back to Godhead. Today, as every day, I meditate upon you as a kind and loving Father who has always selflessly gone well beyond the call of duty in helping your dependents to navigate a path through this life of darkest illusion, danger, and Maya. You are always adorned with all jewel-like Vaishnav qualities in full, although I aspire to glorify only a very small aspect of two of these qualities, namely your complete embodiment of selflessness and your pure compassion as a loving Father and spiritual master. In 2005, you arranged for me to get married. Problem number one was that I didn't have an astrological birth chart and only a vague estimation of the time I was born. You painstakingly grilled me for any key life details, of which I struggled to remember anything significant. After listing whatever insignificant events I could recall, you tolerantly reminded me to include the date of my initiation. Once this task was complete, step 2 was to find someone. I remember you telling me that just because you were going to suggest someone, it didn't mean the suggestion had dropped from Vaikuntha, and that I had to make this decision for myself. You also mentioned that you couldn't promise my husband would be like Yudhisthira Maharaj, or that my children would be like Prahlad Maharaj, but I could always be Krishna conscious. Fortified and terrified by the reality of these instructions, after some months, you kindly arranged for me to meet my future husband at the end of year retreat in Otaki, New Zealand. Our first meeting was the most terrifying for me. 2 chairs had been arranged outside on the lawn next to the cabin you were staying in. The windows were open and you would occasionally walk out onto the deck and glance our way. I was pretty much terrified, but my husband, seemingly unconcerned, was politely going through a list of rational topics of discussion. However, being a Kiwi church mouse, as you called us, I could only think of how loud he seemed and if we were disturbing you. In any case, he was very kind to me and I was able to speak a little. After our first meeting, you came and laughed at me and said, "So, you were able to speak." As the Recharge Festival ended, I had your darshan once more. You told me the pastime of Shakshi Gopal and explained how once a young Brahmana served an elderly Brahmana very nicely, so he gave him his dear daughter in charity. In the same way, you said my husband had served you nicely and you were giving your dear daughter to him. 2 years later, we were married here at Melbourne Mahaprabhu Mandir and have aspired to serve you together since then. You have guided us through many dilemmas and bewilderments, from east to west and north to south pole. You once told me that you sometimes have different hats you need to wear. Sometimes you have the father hat on, and other times the sannyasi hat. And I think there are many other hats as well. I have also heard you mention on multiple occasions how the brahmachari ashram is definitely the most simple. Like the offering of Ganges to the Ganges, I pray that Sri Sri Radha Vallabha may always protect you and remove any physical and mental burden resulting from the immense austerities you constantly undertake. Thank you for showering your selfless compassion and love upon all living beings in this world, Guru Maharaj, including my lowly self. You have given the holy name, Srila Prabhupada's books, and the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and the Vaishnavas. There has never been anyone more merciful to me in my life than you. Your mercy is what gives my existence purpose. Please bless me that I may become a daughter worthy of such a loving, compassionate and selfless father. Your servant, Sri Yashoda Devi Dasi.
Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmaye Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahiyam Jadati Svapadantikam Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Garim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam. The spiritual master is described as heavy, or guru means heavy, and the role of a teacher is a heavy responsibility, especially in the society of devotees, because the teacher teaches but also has to act in such a way that those teachings are modelled. They set the example, in other words. So that responsibility is a heavy responsibility. especially within the ISKCON society, because the devotees live so closely together that, especially for those who are leaders and teachers, their lives are constantly under scrutiny. And so the burden of responsibility that a devotee takes in becoming a teacher or a spiritual master are significant, not to be underestimated. We see in the life of Devamrita Swami a total dedication to the service, to the services. As Sri Yasoda said, he wears, or we wear many hats, right? Just like you probably wear more than one hat. Parent, business person, friend, spouse. We all wear many different hats, and we see that Devamrita Swami is very aware of the fact that he plays many roles. And so my relationship with Devamrita Swami is slightly different to those of disciples, because we manage together, we're friends, or at least I aspire to lead a community of devotees. And so there's many areas of devotional service that we share, somewhat separate to, or actually in the same location as those where he acts as a spiritual master. And I see from Devamrita Maharaj's association over many years now, how many years has he been coming to Melbourne? 25 years, something like that. And we've had lots of challenges to face, lots of success in many regards, and even perhaps some failures. We sometimes laugh about how easy it is to cultivate an Indian audience, and how everything is pretty much steady and stable. This is why I like Melbourne, to be honest. Things are predictable around here. And at least most devotees will at least, they'll follow my instructions or my advice, or at least externally that's what they'll do. But in other places I go, when there's problems and I make suggestions and I tell people what to do, they don't do it. That surprises me, like, well, how do you deal with that? So, one of the things that really struck me with Devamrita Maharaj is his connection with Srila Prabhupada's books, and how he was an editor in the BBT when Srila Prabhupada was actually writing and publishing books himself. And then later he became, these stories about going to Bulgaria and this one and that one, which was an incredibly dangerous thing to do, was in dedication to Srila Prabhupada's order to distribute those books widely, en masse, especially in those days in the Eastern European, which was then the Soviet bloc. So, dedicated to distributing the books. Then when he came here and started preaching here, always encouraging his disciples to read a couple of hours a day. Is that right? At least. And one thing I noticed, he does that himself, which is quite, that's exemplary. And you see it in when he speaks, especially when he's giving class. He's never short of something to say, and when he speaks, it's always in reference to what Srila Prabhupada has said in his books. And that dedication then also amplified in his encouragement of his disciples to also distribute books. And also to cultivate people who do get the books and build a community of devotees focused on and revolving around the pursuit of knowledge and the pursuit of learning, and then of course the distribution of the same. And in doing that, broadly distributing books to everyone and in every place. And he takes great pleasure in hearing the book results. Many devotees actually are quite enthused and encouraged and enlivened by our book distribution scores in the Bhadra campaign this year. A lot of books distributed. I notice that the devotees keep on distributing sets of books. I think they might have cracked the code. As Maharaj was saying the other day, you know, it was an achievement to distribute one book a day in New York in the 70s. Now devotees are selling sets. So that greatly enthuses Maharaj. And even though he jokes about the challenges of cultivating a Western audience, he still is thoroughly dedicated to that activity and encourages his disciples to move outside of the, you know, in one sense we're in our comfort zone here. We're all pretty comfortable with each other, but to go out into the broader Australian community, I think it strikes fear into the hearts of most. It's like, ooh, it's a challenge. Have to learn the language. Have to connect with foreigners effectively, right? And even I find it very difficult because, you know, I grew up in the 50s and the 60s. So I talk to the people of today. Here's an example that always shocks me. In the plane flying to Murwillumbah on Thursday, to Coolangatta on Thursday, I got up to go to the bathroom. And then on the way through, the flight attendants were giving out, you know, snacks and whatever. And I got out of the bathroom and I was waiting for them to come past, and then the flight attendant that had been serving at Chintarupa said, "Oh, I gave your partner a glass of water." And she's not my partner, she's my wife. Right. So, but this is how, you know, in the modern world, if you're referring to somebody's spouse, you call them the partner, right? You know, anyway, it's just it's a little thing, but for me it's a challenge because it's a different language that people speak, right? So, but I know that's what Devamrita Maharaj really encourages his disciples and all of us, because he's our GBC as well and a sannyasi. And, you know, as a sannyasi, the leader of our community, of our communities, plural, is that desire to get Prabhupada's books, get the holy name, give the opportunity for others as broadly as possible to take the association of the devotees so that they also become part of our community. We'd be surprised, actually, or you'd be surprised, how favourable people are in Australia to the Hare Krishnas, actually. You'd be, well, maybe you wouldn't be surprised, but
people are actually very favourable to Hare Krishna. Here's an interesting example. This week, Radhika Ranjana Das is doing a kirtan program at the St Kilda Town Hall, and they had to shift the venue, was it twice? At least once, because they were overwhelmed by the number of people who wanted to attend this program, which is interesting. So there's a change afoot, and we should take advantage of it. And I know this is the kind of preaching that Maharaj encourages us. Srila Prabhupada encouraged us. We need to extend ourselves. If you can't be a book distributor, then go out on Harinam and chant Hare Krishna. That's good enough. Chanting Hare Krishna is good enough, and it has great potency. Well, the good thing is that we benefit. Right? There's almost no higher taste of nectar can be experienced than in going out and chanting Hare Krishna in public. And maybe there is a higher taste, and that's distributing Prabhupada's books. So this is always encouraged and exemplified by Devamrita Swami and his disciples. And so on this, his 74th Vyasapuja, I can see there, we take this opportunity to relish Devamrita Maharaj's association and support and encouragement, as some of you also mentioned, his humour, right? And relish the opportunity to hear you, his sincere disciples, praise and relish and glorify Maharaj on his appearance day. Hare Krishna.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Tamal Krishna Goswami Ti Namane Panchakaltarubhayasya Kripa Sindhe Vacha Patitanam Pavnave Vaishnave Namo Namah. His Holiness Devamrita Maharaj Vyasapuja Ki Hare Krishna. I just came to know about it today. There was Maharaj Vyasapuja, so I came. Sorry, I'm not really prepared to speak, but I thought I should say something, I was just thinking some of the things that my Guru Maharaj said. One of the things was, he said that what pleases the spiritual master the most? And somebody asked Srila Gurudev, and Srila Gurudev said, when a disciple makes advancements. So it's not that we have to do this service or that service. Whatever service you can do, whatever service you are good at, as long as you're making advancement, the spiritual master is pleased. So most of my life in my Krishna consciousness was either in Fiji or I've spent the last 25, 26 years in Melbourne. Being in charge of cooking, I was unable to go anywhere. But this year, or bit of last year, I was able to move out and see. And you get a true picture of when Prabhupada said that Prabhupada has built a house in which the whole world can live. You can see so many devotees working together, saving together. Just like here, we have so many devotees of different spiritual masters, all gathered together to actually save the same mission, the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj has been very instrumental in saving, especially the Melbourne Yatra. Being GBC of Australia, you can see the differences in there. One thing I love most Maharaj is about his laugh. His laugh is so deep, and you can see he enjoys it, And just like he enjoys doing a lot of things in there. It's so nice that after even Srila Prabhupada has left,
all of these gurus have gone so much out of their way to do whatever they have done that we find it easy. Everything has been done for us. What they did was amazing. The amount of work they did, the amount of risk they took, just like listening to the lecture, what they were going through. Now we find it very easy. Everything has been set up for us. As Anuda Prabhu was saying, that selling one book before in New York was like an achievement for the day. Now we're saying, somebody sold more than 200 sets of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam in a month. This is why, this is all the hard work that Maharajas and his disciples and they have all done. A disciple is a reflection of the spiritual master, and we can see that so many nice devotees, they're working together, preaching, book distribution, and once Srila Gurudev asked us to actually, I wasn't there, the disciples in Fiji, to go and do book distribution. So books were given to them and everybody went, and one of the senior devotees went, and in the end he was asking, how many books did you distribute? So one of the devotees said, I went there and I distributed one book. He said, what did you do the whole time? He said, I was preaching to him. I said, how long are you preaching? He said, over 3 hours I preached to them. He said, Prabhupada said, Srila Gurudev said, I didn't ask you to go and preach. I asked you to do book distribution. You give the books, Prabhupada will do the rest. So that's what we are doing. We are very fortunate to be in a movement where basically we can actually move one room to another room, and every room is as exciting as the other one. My trip to Fiji was like this. I was there for 10 days, a festival of Fiji, and there were devotees from all over the world there. And when you want to, for the first time in my life, I could taste what a spiritual world could be like. We were there, we were saving, we were doing kirtan together, we were taking prasadam, and for that period of time, I didn't even think about anything else, I just tried to remember that I make a call to my wife once a day. Apart from that, I was so engrossed together, and it was so beautiful, and this is what this is all about. So, thank you, Maharaj. Thank you making this movement much, much better. Thank you for being one of the major branches of this Prabhupada's movement, ISKCON, and encouraging more and more devotees, giving us association of not only yourself but your disciples as well. Thank you, and on behalf of Srila Gurudev and my God brothers and God sisters, thank you for accepting us, guiding us, giving your association, and we hope and pray that you'll continue to do that. His Holiness Ved Vyas Priya Maharaj Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmati Devamrita Swami iti namine Prachare Purvadaksham cha Bhaktivedanta Pravinata Paratatapi Karunyam Yasya Sarvachate Namaha. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your divine appearance day. How will someone like me, with so many deficiencies, ever be able to glorify your plethora of qualities? Everything that I have thought of writing falls woefully short of adequately honoring you. For my own purification, let me grovel at your feet like a child in need of a parent with this minuscule attempt to glorify you. Please accept it as a gesture of love, a fragment of which you have shown many of those of whom you have graced your presence. In the beginning of our spiritual quest, we often present these questions. How can I place my faith in Krishna? Or how can I trust this particular Guru? Suddenly, after decades, it struck me. What if the question was reversed? What if, Gurudev, you would ask me, how can you trust my sadhana? How can you trust my commitment? How can you trust my dependency? I cringe at the thought of even attempting to answer. I humbly bow down to take shelter of you who carry the mood of Srila Prabhupada. All the acharyas in our line have graced the earth with the same magnanimity, with arms outstretched, ready to receive all those who are eager to evolve and grow spiritually. It is not that we change any of the core principles of the most glorious path of Krishna consciousness, but we must uphold that mood in our life. That if any soul approaches holding even an inkling of sincerity, then we welcome them in, nourish them, and patiently guide them along. Our line is that of Krishna Kripa Srimurti, those who are the embodiment of Krishna's mercy. There's no limit to how Srila Prabhupada embodied Krishna's mercy. With unrivaled eagerness, he searched out the sincerity in the hearts of one and all. He found the spark of love of Krishna within those who more often than not from an external perspective had no qualification to approach Krishna. Srila Prabhupada was part of that downpour of mercy that is so needed in our age of Kali. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, material existence is something like a blazing fire in the forest, which can be extinguished by the mercy of Lord Sri Krishna. The spiritual master is the mercy representative of the Lord. Therefore, a person burning in the flames of material existence may receive the rains of mercy of the Lord through the transparent medium of the self-realized spiritual master. Gurudev, who am I? What was my qualification? What did I do to receive the love and mercy from you? Even a fool like me now can start comprehending the words of Srila Prabhupada simply by looking at you, the embodiment of those definitions. In all these years I have observed, you do not discriminate in terms of where and how such a downpour of mercy takes place. Again in his writings we find that Srila Prabhupada speaking about a level of devotional service expressed in the role of Guru. The purport to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 16.55, it says, if one is true to Gaura Nitai's service in the disciplic succession, he can even exceed Nityananda Prabhu's service. This is the process of disciplic succession. Nityananda Prabhu delivered Jagai and Madai, but a servant of Nityananda Prabhu, by his grace, can deliver many thousands of Jagais and Madais. That is the special benediction of the disciplic succession. One who is situated in this disciplic succession can be understood by the result of his activities. And how is it that Srila Prabhupada can exude that powerful explosion of mercy that spreads high as heavens? It is because he imbibes every aspect of Lord Nityananda's example. He does not focus on the faults of others beyond a point where it is relevant or helpful. In the same way, Srila Prabhupada did not understand the faults of anyone to be a disqualification. Any boundaries, any faults, any bodily designations were shattered to pieces. Guru Maharaj, the picture sounds familiar to the eye. As we usually say, no DNA test required. The fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. We can rejoice to see that you understand the heart of your dear father, Srila Prabhupada, and the legacy continues through you. You leave no stone unturned to please him by touching the lives of many and striving hard to reconnect them to Krishna and rekindling their love. Service is a privilege which is extended to conditioned soul by the mercy of Guru. The more I serve you, the more I realize how unworthy of a disciple I am. I bow down before you again and again. My obeisances at your lotus feet is my only wealth. What do I have to offer you to try and express my gratitude for having sought out that sincerity within me? I can only bow my head and serve you, embarrassed at the patience you always show as I creep towards surrender at a snail's pace. But please know that this mood that you carry like a family jewel, passed down from the disciplic succession, is my greatest source of inspiration. Seeing how much you believe in me is the very sun that illuminates my life. I pray that you will continue to show us the infinite joy and satisfaction that comes along this mood. And our sincere hope is to be set alight by this fire of bhakti, to stay within that fire. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Your love towards me and your family and my family is so heartwarming. Neglecting all our imperfection, you oppose each of our small attempts to please you. You reciprocate with such affection. You never fail to repay with a sweet smile of yours. I pray that one day I can be worthy of being called your son. One day, just maybe one day. What can I give to a father who wants nothing but the best for me, for my own benefit and purity? I noticed how through your questions a couple of years ago, you constantly made sure that I do not become too complacent and comfortable in my spiritual life. I still remember the day you asked me whether I feel enough challenges through my service to the Wyndham Center. Suddenly I could realize how much you wanted me to grow and leave behind my own conceptions. More than a decade ago, you told me you had plans for me and that I should make the trip from Mayapur to Melbourne. I never mustered the courage to ask you about the plan and simply followed along. I have been meditating on it all these years and probably waited for it to be revealed to me. It is fascinating to see it unveiling in front of my eyes. I pray for your well-being and optimum health, Guru Maharaj, so that you can please Srila Prabhupada even more. Happy Guru Vyasapuja. Clasping a straw between my teeth, I repeatedly beg to attend the dust of your lotus feet, birth after birth. Your insignificant son, daughter and granddaughter, Dhira Shiromani Das, Ramani Shiromani, Sudevi Kishore.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, dear Gurudev. All glories to your appearance day. I would like to thank you for accepting me as your disciple and welcoming me into God family. Your presence calms tsunami of questions and calms my anxiety. After your darshan, mostly I don't remember what questions I asked, but your instructions bells my mind. I feel so much separation when you come and go, like a baby separated from its mother, but gets consoled when I come to temple and meet devotees. I didn't understand why you kept instructing me to read Chaitanya Charitamrita. Hesitatingly, I started reading while listening to your classes, but it all made sense when I started reading more in association of devotees. Every text and verse are beautiful conversations between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees, guiding an ignorant soul like me how to live every day in gratitude their Lordship's mercy and your mercy. Your mercy is the only hope in this full world of Maya. Gurudev, I always get a dream. I'm sending emails to you, but about what happened the whole day, but not happened so far and may not happen ever. I fall down exploiting the three modes of material nature. I pick up my battles, want to be with devotees and Krishna. Try to not hurt anyone, but I'm full of anarthas. If ever I hurt you in any way, please forgive me. Please accept my prayers in this simple offering and please forgive me of any offenses. Seeking your blessing so I can serve you the best way possible. Your menial servant, Ujjwala Smita.
Hare Krishna Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances and please give me your mercy so that I can speak few words in your glorification. I feel very much motivated when I hear your lectures. The recent series of lectures you gave at Gita Nagari were like nectar. You shared sweet childhood pastime of Lord Krishna and shared the glories of holy name. The interesting aspect of your lectures I find are you make the highest spiritual truths simplified for conditioned soul like me. I wonder how even before joining ISKCON you had the strong taste for Bhagavad Gita and the first word you said to a devotee was Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. This shows you are not an ordinary soul, you are messenger of God whom your mother prayed for us to make us delivered. I thank to your mother for this wonderful gift on this auspicious occasion of your Vyasapuja. A pure devotee even though has mystic power, but they don't exhibit them. You have such a mystic power and I would like to share. This year we had a baby Chandrika, and when we were coming for your darshan, me and my wife thought of asking how to raise children in Krishna consciousness. But before even we asked, you were already answering and we were amazed. We are very fortunate in Melbourne to have your association frequently. I was also wondering how you manage such a busy schedule even at this mature age similar to Srila Prabhupada. You are true representative of Srila Prabhupada and I wish to serve you more. I would like to thank you, Gurudev, for accepting me as your disciple and initiating me. Also thank you for giving me the spiritual birth and name. Even though your glories are unlimited, I am not good in glorifying. So please forgive me for my lack of qualification and give me your mercy so that I can learn more to serve you and the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Your servant Rudra Gita Das.
नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते देवमृत स्वामी नामने प्रचार पूर्वक लक्ष्यम च भक्ताचार प्रावीण्यता परतात्पिकारुण्यस्य सर्वेते नमः. Hare Krishna, Srila Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your divine appearance day. Even though I am unqualified to glorify you, still I am expressing my deepest gratitude. Gurudev, from day one when I met you in Hare Krishna Valley Retreat till today, whenever I have your darshan, my realization to surrender to Krishna becomes deeper. Through your lectures, Gurudev, I feel constant presence around me. All of my questions are answered as I derive great satisfaction by releasing the nectar of your transcendental discourses. Guru Maharaj, on this most auspicious day, I beg at your lotus feet that I can always keep my mind focused on the words emanating from your lotus mouth and continue to apply them in my life. Your lectures and question and answer sessions give solutions to all the questions in life. Your examples of compassion, optimism, enthusiasm, love, inspiration and happiness in Krishna consciousness teach us how to lead a Krishna consciousness life in this practical world. Gurudev, it has been a true gift meeting you in this lifetime. Thank you for being a wonderful example of how to serve the Lord and Srila Prabhupada with pure love. Your enthusiasm in kirtans is infectious and has touched the hearts of many conditional souls like me, and inspired us to serve together and move Srila Prabhupada's movement forward. We are having a growing devotional family in Melbourne, day after day, which expands all over the world, and I am so grateful to be a part of it, even in a small and significant way. On a personal note, this year I and Sangeeta had a darshan with you, Gurudev. It was the first darshan after marriage, and most of our doubts were cleared. Sangeeta started appreciating the process more than before because of the association you have built in Melbourne. And with your divine blessings, she started chitting rounds from Janmashtami day. On this auspicious day, we beg to your lotus feet to always keep you in your shelter and guidance. I pray to Sri Sri Radhavallabh, Gonita, Jagannath, Vallabh, Subhadra Devi to give you good health so that you do more and more preaching programs in Melbourne and make everyone Krishna consciousness. I pray that one day I can develop a humble mode of becoming a servant of a servant and please you, Gurudev, trying to become a humble servant, Bhishma Pitama Das and Sangeeta.
So that's it for the offerings. We got one last video where Gurudev is explaining, how being Krishna consciousness is the most important thing to do.
You might think, how do these incidents of devotees hearing questions that take them to the spiritual world, how can that improve the situation of the world? That was always my ambition during my karmic sojourn. I was always thinking how to solve all the world's problems. Certainly I wasn't behaving in a way to solve all the world's problems, but let me tell you, in glorification of Srila Prabhupada, how Prabhupada, to me, handled this ambition I had. My first year at university, my academic advisors said, okay, what do you want to study? This is Yale University. The world is at your command. I told them, I want to find the knowledge that can solve all the world's problems. Well, I wasn't thinking about bhakti, I can assure you that. So don't clap. So the professors looked at me and said, well, very good. This is what the university is actually meant for. But most persons want fame and money, and you'll get that. You'll have a Yale degree, but we're going to give you a special dispensation. For 4 years, you can study whatever you like and see if you find the solution of all the world's problems. Study whatever you like. We'll put it together under some kind of degree. And don't worry, you have a Yale degree, your life is successful. So I did that. And before I left, these academic advisors left their office, they said, and by the way, if you happen to find a solution to all the world's problems, come and let us know. So for 4 years I did that. And then my conclusion was, I haven't found it. I haven't found the answer. But it was always on my mind. Flash forward. I'm sitting in front of Srila Prabhupada 8 months later after graduation. Right in front, just like Prabhupada is here, I'm right there. I had dressed, I wasn't a full devotee yet, but I dressed appropriately for the occasion. I cut down my Sai Baba hairstyle. I went to an Indian boutique and got an Indian kurta because my fancy shirts had fringes coming from the sleeve, and I was wearing my embroidered pants, the epitome of a pseudo New York Ivy League enjoyer. Not simply New York, but Manhattan. So there I was, looking like that, sitting in front of Prabhupada. And I had been reading his books 4 hours a day for 6 months straight, but I would never go to the temple because I thought, these books are wonderful, but what can these Hare Krishnas do to solve the world's problems? It was still on my mind. So now I'm sitting in front of Prabhupada, and unfortunately I can't find the recording of the lecture. Prabhupada is lecturing on the prayers of Queen Kunti, I believe. And so I'm soaking up the nectar, but I'm thinking, but how is this going to solve the world's problems? All of a sudden, and I don't recommend you do this unless you have a tiny drop at least of Prabhupada's love and compassion. I don't suggest you imitate this, but I'm just telling you what happened. I'm sitting in front of Prabhupada as he's explaining about Kunti Devi, the Pandavas. I'm just soaking it all up in the back of my mind. Great, wonderful, this is it. But how's this going to practically solve the world's problems? All of a sudden, Prabhupada starts roaring. If you're optimistic about material life, you are an animal. If you're a human being, you must be pessimistic. Only an animal is optimistic about material life. I felt like a shower of flower petals. Not like I was hit with razor blades or arrows, as if I had such a thing to someone. I felt like I was being covered with flower petals as Prabhupada roared on, repeating, if you're a human being, you must be pessimistic. I was so happy. This is the conclusion of my research. And then Prabhupada finished his lecture by saying, but in Krishna consciousness, everything is optimistic.
So we've got Pushpanjali now. Yeah.
Open the cupboard, first cupboard left side, bottom drawer. Big book. Under the roof. Microphone.
offering a prayer. No, you can just do that. Okay. Okay, let me get the book. Book is coming. Yeah. They're coming. I can hold the. When we have the microphone stand. No, we'll get the microphone because we'll get the microphone stand. Because it. Om Ajnana Timiranthasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanutam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha-nitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prachar